Perfect. All right. So let me do perfect. All right. 1 second. Here we go. Perfect. All right. Add to right. All right. So listen. Ooh, sorry. Um, it is was having some technical difficulty, guys, and yeah, so we got that straightened out. So let's get this started, right? Immediately. So this I won't be taking too much of your time, guys. So as you guys know, I'm Nasser, aka the real estate guru. I'm not a guru, I'm a guru. Because I actually do this business. Now, I get questioned a lot. Can you wholesale? Can you wholesale while you doing the job and while you're working the job? And for those who don't know, right? Wholesaling is essentially wholesaling is basically when you find a house at a deep discount. Okay, so I'm gonna give you an example. You find a house that's, let's say, is worth $100,000. You find it, and the seller inherited the house. They live 4 states away, and they don't want anything to do with the property, right? And you say, "Hey, Mr. Seller, I would like to buy this house. Would you sell me this house for $40,000?" They say, "Sure." What you would do at that point, you would then sign a contract with that seller, right? And you would then call up a cash buyer. You will call up a cash buyer, and by calling up a cash buyer, let's say Tom, Tom the buyer, you say, "Hey, Tom the buyer, I got this contract on 123 Main Street. I'll sell it to you for $50,000." Tom said, "All right, let me go take a look at it." Tom looks at it. Tom says, "Hey, I'll give you $50,000." And on closing day, Tom, you assign a assignment of contract with Tom, right? An assignment with contract with Tom. So now you have a contract with the seller, and an assignment of a contract with Tom. So on closing day, you're gonna put those two together, and by putting those two together, what you would do at that particular point is you would send it over to the attorney company or the title company. And on closing day, Tom will wire in 50,000 plus closing. The seller will get 40, you will get $10,000. You will move on, do another deal. So that is wholesaling, right? First, since we got you to the left, Avery, um, if I want you to, for about 15, like about 10 to 15 minutes, right? I want people to tell you, tell them about yourself. Tell them what you do. Tell them how you got into the Duru Squad, and how has the Duru Squad helped your career. Please take it from here.
All right, cool. So I'm Avery, out of Charlotte, North Carolina. So I've been wholesaling for a minute, probably about 2 to 3 years now, actually. Um, it's had its ups and downs. I've probably been with the Dual Squad probably for about a year now, actually. And I do it part time. My first year, I kind of went hard at wholesaling. I wasn't having too much luck, so I kind of slowed down and then went hard again, slow down again. So now I'm at a good steady pace. Definitely, I'm making my calls to sellers, text messages, just different ways, that you teachers and other programs. I've been in different programs, other program teachers, but definitely get a lot of advice from you. Anytime that I get a deal, I always run it by you because number one, you're local, so you kind of know the area that I'm in. Charlotte, Rockhill, Gaston, the surrounding area. I did a few virtual things, but I didn't really have any luck with the virtual aspect of it. But it's still possible. Definitely still possible. I've definitely talked to many sellers who was, wanting to sell, maybe not be at the right price, but they definitely wanted to sell. When I first started, I started with just basically just cold calling. At the same time, still working full time job. I actually worked probably about 36 hours a week when I first started, and then I slowed down, started going really, really hard with the making the calls, sending the text blast. And then of course, as you know, recently I closed the deal. So like I say, I think I've been in your group probably about a year now. I'm there 2 times a week. Originally, it started off at 1 time a week, and then you went to 2 times a week. So we definitely getting that value from you. So we do appreciate that. You always answer all our questions. Like I said, I came to you when I got this deal. I actually brought it to you, and it wasn't for you, I wouldn't even locked it up probably. Or I would, yeah, I probably wouldn't even locked it up. But he was like, "Hey, do this, and go ahead and lock it up." So definitely getting value from you. I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Yeah, man, I definitely appreciate that. And that deal was out of a hot sub market of Charlotte. And yeah, I knew you had something there. I didn't know exactly what it was, but I knew you had something there. And the buyer, even though you walked away with a nice 5-figure check, the buyer he reached out to me. I actually knew the buyer, surprisingly. I didn't know that till after the deal. And he was like, "Hey, you know Avery?" I said, "Yes, I know Avery." And he was like, "Yeah, man. Yeah, I just got a smoking deal from. I don't even have to do too much to it. And I'm gonna resell it for X." I'm like, "Okay, well, great. Everybody makes money. So, and that's the thing about wholesaling. You have to know everybody. Have to be willing to everybody that makes money. Have to know everybody that makes money. Now, I do have a question for you, Avery. Um, so, what's your work schedule, and when do you cold call, and when do you do your Texas?
So my work schedule. So I don't really do a lot of text messaging anymore. But my work schedule, I work at a hospital, so it's really flexible. So I could come in and like today I work 12 hours. Got here at 7 in the morning. Get off at 7 at night. So I could also come in a night shift. So my schedule is kind of flexible. So when I first, yeah, I work 12 hour shifts at the hospital. So when I first started, I would work my 3 days a week, and then I would pick up some night shifts. But like the days that I was off is when I would call because I had all day to call. My wife was at work, and my son, I think he wasn't even born yet. So I was on my own personal cell phone, making them phone calls, calling people. So now I got a dollar, but like I say, I learned a lot over the last few years, just mistakes. But so I do a lot of cold calls that I you referred us to. Being in your group, you also give us a lot of good referrals that you probably don't get other people. I got a good DA, he's bringing in a few leads also for me. And then the text messages kind of hit or miss. One of the things that I also learned doing this is also market on Facebook, not like the typical marketing, but basically it's kind of like posting in groups, just telling people that, hey, somebody want to buy a house, let me know. I get you a referral fee. It's actually how I locked up that deal that I got in Gaston. On my personal Facebook page, I'll throw it out there and say, hey, somebody want to sell a house, let me know. I'll throw you $1,000 referral fee. Young lady, she inboxed me. That's 3 months later. Hey, it was magic. It happened. Definitely took a lot of follow up with the seller, but at the end of the day, my seller was happy. Like you say, my buyer was happy. Of course, I was happy. So there you go.
Okay, I like that strategy, man. I like that strategy. I got a friend who does that. He goes into yard sale groups and say, "Hey, listen, if anybody knows somebody that has a beat up house, ugly house, and if they want to sell, or if you want to sell your house, I do a referral fee for $500 to $1,000. If you give me a lead that I close on." So that was a good strategy. So technically, basically, what you did, you pay nothing for that lead, and then you turn that nothing into something. Is that correct?
Yep, basically, yep. I actually got that strategy from Jen and Joe, the creative finance from Playboy. They also taught me that strategy, and I've been doing that all the time now. Like going to groups, some people like I got this group, but posting on Facebook that I give you $1,000 referral if you send somebody my way. So the girl who actually referred me to the sellers, I actually posted her on my Facebook, and somebody saw it a day or two ago, and then she gave me another referral. So it's definitely bringing some leads in. It's no, yeah, exactly. So it's definitely bringing some leads in.
Definitely bring some leads. Okay, so yeah, I mean, like I just wanted to prove to people that this stuff works, man. That you have a job, you doing 36 hours a week. I mean, granted, your job is flexible, etc., but you have a full time job and you're still able to do this business, which is I just wanted to prove that to people because a lot of people they think that, well, I got a job, I don't have time to call, I don't have time to text, and I got started with a job. So I just had to make it work. When I got off of work, I got home and I started calling people back. I started texting people, doing I did whatever I had to do. You know what I mean, to make this business work, and you're consistently doing it. Now, one more question. So, what's your goals with wholesaling? Like, what do you want? Where do you want wholesaling to take you?
Uh, to infinity. Like I plan on wholesaling forever. Hopefully one day leaving my job and just doing the wholesaling, maybe a few flips here and there, but definitely wholesaling is like it's like life changing. And like I say, it's definitely doable. Even if you're working, part time or full time, you could definitely make it happen.
All right, yeah, bro, and I think you're on your way, man. As you know, we got a call tomorrow night. Also, Avery, bro. Hopefully you can make it out Saturday to that open house that I got going on for everyone that's in the Duru squad. But yeah, at this point, man, I just want to say thank you, man, for joining me, man, and and giving us that, man. Yeah, bro. I really appreciate you being on. So. I really appreciate you being on, bro, and thank you.
Yeah,
And yeah, you need anything, I'm here for you, bro.
yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, I appreciate you, man. Like I say on these calls, on our coaching calls, like you take time with us. You don't be trying to get in a hurry, get off the phone with us. You walk us through the deals. You walk us through how to run the comps, how to find buyers, where not to wholesale at. You give us just so much value. Like you just, like I'm so happy I joined your group, man. Like I appreciate you.
All right, Avery, thanks a
Real.
lot, bro.
All right. All right.
My man Ali. Ali, what's going on, bro?
What's poppin'?
All right, bro. First things first, Ali, thank you, man, for joining, being so patient, man, and doing this, being flexible with the time and the schedule to come on the line. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, man. So with that being said, Ali, all right, I want to take time to introduce yourself. And because you've been wholesaling for some years now, I want to say we met about a few years ago, and you've been wholesaling for a while now, and you're working. But I want you to talk about that, like your entry into wholesaling, getting into Duru Squad, and you working, and what times do you call people, and what times do you text people?
Yeah. So yeah, I got into wholesaling actually like right after COVID, with the squad, and it's been super helpful. I know at one point, I was working for JP Morgan as a banker, and I just hated it, especially banking. It was terrible. It was so bad, and I was like, I hate this. But I was wholesaling on the side. I didn't really have a lot of traction, but it really just came out to like commitment. I mean, I'd make calls, but it'd be for like an hour after I get off. Like I really wasn't committed. So at one point I quit working at Chase and I went full time into wholesaling. And, my first month I got my first deal and it was like $5,000. And that was kind of like the light at the end of the tunnel. And I was like, okay, I can do this. And, you guys have been so supportive. I know for after that first deal, I was kind of on a dry spell. I was on a dry spell for like 3 months and I was like really worried. I remember coming to you, I was like, man, I think I need to get a job. And he was like, well, let's look at what you're doing. And you're like, okay, well, you're going to the Dallas market. That's really, there's a lot of players in there, a lot of big fish. Why don't you try going outside, a population, 100,000, between like 100,000, 200,000, and see how that goes. And literally within the first month, I got my biggest deal, which was like $15,000. And it was actually an old follow up. We had a deal locked up. She wasn't ready to sell it at that price. A week later, she came back. It was for 100K. I told her I'd do it. I told her I'd do it for 100. I found a buyer that was interested at 115. And you helped guide me through that. Got him with the title company. 2 weeks later, closed. Wire hit my account, and then 4 or 5 months later, did another deal for 5,000, and then did another deal for like 7,000. But it really came out to support. So like, all the 25 of you who are watching, this business isn't hard. It's hard because we tell ourselves these narratives like, oh, no one's going to answer, but all you need is one person to answer. And I feel like most people are just scared that someone is going to answer and they're going to be like, yeah, I want to sell, and they won't know what to do, which is why a community is super important, which is why, NOS has been, such a valuable asset, the whole squad, questions, leadership, especially kind of what Avery mentioned. I mean, there's a lot of tactics that I don't use that I should be using, like the yard sale, Facebook groups and stuff like that. So as far as my journey so far, I still wholesale. I usually do it on the weekends. I work for an investment bank in Austin, Texas. So as far as my schedule, it's a normal around 8 to 5, 5:30, and then after hours, I usually call, send text messages, and also I've been looking on the MLS. I haven't had much luck with that, but I think I'm not going to say it's not good, but I think your time could be better spent elsewhere, and I think that's more of a conversation me and Nas need to have. But overall, it's more of find the time, because I mean, it's worth it, because again, all it takes is one person to say, hey, I am interested in selling, and that could be a life-changing check, or at least the comfort room that you need in your bank account, or at least set you on the right path. I personally text message. I feel personally with my templates and everything that I use, I get around a 20-25% response rate, and I can send out 400 texts at 5 o'clock and get a good amount of replies afterwards. I usually send about 400 or 500 texts a week. So I'll send 100 texts after I get off work, send about 200 on the weekends. And again, you're just building your pipeline. You'll get some that say like, yeah, I'm ready to sell. You'll also get some to say that, hey, follow up with me in a week or two, or get back to me, in a month or two. But that's good. That's what you want. Like you want a large pipeline of people ready to go. And, I have nothing but great things to say with Nas and the Duru squad. They've really helped out. The support's there, the love's there, the crazy questions that I have, the breakdowns, anything that you probably need help with that you think you don't need help with, you will, believe me. So having a team and having support that helps you out, especially in those times where you don't know what to do, whether you need to pivot or, in my case, get a job. But overall, again, nothing but great things to say. I highly recommend, if you have the time, you have the resources, invest in yourself, invest in a team, invest in a family that's there to help you out.
All right, Ali, I got a question for you, bro. All right, so you said before real estate, you was at J.P. Morgan Chase.
Yeah.
And I have a banking background, right, as well. So I know what it's like to be in banking and hate that job. So I get that.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this: what made you choose real estate though? Like, what made you choose that? Like, yo, I'm gonna give this thing a try.
Yeah, it was a combination of things. My parents own rental properties, so I kind of knew the background of like fixing, flipping, and owning properties. But I'm pretty stubborn, so I was like, no, I don't want your help. I can do it myself. And so I came across one of your videos on like a For You page on Instagram, and I was like, oh, this guy seems legit. I'll check him out. And then I just went down the rabbit hole of your YouTube videos and like your Instagram pages, and I was like, I got some money. I'll join. And ever since then, I've never looked back. It's one of those things where it's like you can invest in yourself, and it has the highest ROI. I mean, the amount I invested in working with you guys, I've more than quadrupled or 10x that. I mean, over all the deals I've done, and I think it's just it speaks volumes to like take the not even a risk, take the investment in yourself, because it'll pay you wonders. Now I have this skill that I can just transfer into any aspect of my life. Because if you think wholesaling houses, you can wholesale anything. I mean, you can wholesale yachts, jets, just add a zero to whatever you want. But the fundamentals that you learn will be, an intricate value into whatever role you want to do in life. Because at the end of the day, finding a buyer, a seller, and being a middleman, that's essentially what our economy is built off of, if you really think about it. But yeah, that's kind of a long-winded answer, but that's how I found you. That's how I did it. I used YouTube, shout out YouTube and Instagram. Really came in clutch. But yeah, that's really everything else. I'm more of a ready, fire, aim kind of guy. So like I really didn't watch too many videos. So I was like, oh, I could do this. And I started dialing, and I was like, okay, maybe I need a little help.
I'm sorry, I me myself. Okay, well, listen. Before I let you go, Ali, what advice would you give to somebody, on the fence or thinking about getting into the Duru Squad?
Uh, I would say invest in yourself. I mean, because at the end of the day, no one's going to save you. Like you have to learn these skills. I mean, what you're getting paid now in life is a combination of all the skills you have, and the only way to get paid more is to get more skills. And what you're doing here is not only getting more skills, but you're getting support in a family as well to answer those crazy questions that you'll have. Because at the end of the day, you're going to have questions. And if you don't have someone like Nas who will literally hop on a call with you to figure this out. I mean, for example, I was underwriting a deal. It was like $2.3 million in Michigan for like a sixplex, looking at rentals. And we broke down the numbers. He was like, no, this is not a good deal. People buy in this state for the prices. This is way overpriced. But on paper, it looked like a good deal. But if you don't have someone who knows, who has, the market understanding, you'd be flat on your butt. If my true advice is invest in yourself, you have support, don't be afraid. And at the end of the day, worst comes to worst, you have a new skill that you can transition into any part of your life, but pull the trigger. I mean, you won't regret it.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And all right, so we're both. I just want to say I want to say thank you to both of them. And that's one thing, right? Once you join the Duru Squad, is like a lot of people want to reach out to me. Once you join it, I know you're in there. I know you're serious, right? And we have the weekly calls, right? We have the weekly calls, like Avery says with me when I was just doing them every other week. But yeah, we have the weekly calls, right, to support. But sometimes you guys have to pull me to the side. We gotta hop on the call, and listen, this is my number. Let's talk. If I'm available, we are gonna talk about this. We're gonna break down this deal, and I reserve that for my students. Because my goal is to make sure they're successful since they made the investment into me. So, guys that are watching me on YouTube, and if you're looking at the comment section, I'm going to drop a link in there if you're actually interested in booking a call with the team. Please click on that link and and you can set up a time for a phone call, etc. My team will get back to you to discuss. Please make sure you decide to show up on time because my team will make sure we take your time seriously. So we want to be taken serious as well. So yeah, man. Once again, Avery and Holly, I just want to say thank you. I'm gonna end this live here. If you want to watch this replay, it will be in the free Facebook group Wholesaling with the Duru or on my YouTube channel. So guys, at this point, I am signing off, and hey, I'm Nasser, aka the Real Estate Guru. I'm not a guru, I'm a Duru because I actually do this business. Peace.